Hello, book lovers, hello, storytellers, and hello, world. Welcome to Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Frank. Our guest for today grew up in a multi-generation family of Methodists in a small company town in the Gulf Coast area of Texas. He authored the book Commentaries on the Book of Wisdom. Let us all welcome Russell Marlett. Hello, Russell.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. How about yourself?
Well, I tell you what, I'm a little concerned as to how I'm going to come across on this. But you're making me feel very much at ease. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. All right. So, this is Russell's first time on the show. So, everyone, if you want to grab a copy of the book, Commentaries on the Book of Wisdom, please do so. It's available on Amazon. All right. Before anything else, yes, Russell, can you tell us more about yourself?
Okay, I was, of course, brought up in a very small town. I went to a very small high school. When I graduated high school, I had not a clue what I wanted to do. My parents were both college graduates, but they didn't seem to spent a lot of time giving me a direction. So I picked several directions, and I went to Texas A&M University for 2 years. Uh, Took a job with the Forest Service the summer after my second year. Went to Riggins, Idaho, where I uh, did the most fun work that I have ever done in my life. I built trails. I uh, cleaned up after the loggers. I fought fires. I was on the lookout for a while. It was just a wonderful summer for me, and that's where I got started with, you might say, my spiritual exploration in different media.
So that, if I'm not mistaken, that triggered you writing the book, correct?
That triggered my exploration into numerous disciplines. I, of course,
Mhm.
was primarily a, a Christian in my orientation. Later on, as an adult, uh, I taught different classes. Taught children's classes. I taught adult classes, and in doing so, I had to do a lot of research into the Bible. Now, before that, I had my wife and I had belonged to a church in another city. We started out in Houston, and now this may sound silly to you, but it really impacted my decision to explore more spirituality, and that was in this church that we belonged to. It was a large church, a larger church than we had ever been in, and I have always believed that what we're compelled to do, what we're called to do, is to serve the underserved in our communities. You know, to feed the hungry, to clothe the people without particularly good clothing, to
Yes.
find shelter for the homeless. And I had gotten involved in a very interesting uh, project, and that was it was called the Contact Ministry. The Contact Ministry was a telephone ministry where people were in crisis were encouraged to call in, and
Mm-hmm.
I. Uh, Matter of fact, it was also a suicide prevention line, and I had only one genuine suicide case to handle on the phone line. But the entire experience was wonderful, and I felt fulfilled because so many of the people were thankful for the encouragement or uh, just the counsel that I gave them. And then the day came in this larger church where we were members when the pastor asked everybody to uh, come to a meeting, and we were going to discuss the outreach programs that the members were in. Well, here in this church of about a thousand members, uh, this had not been planned. So when the pastor asked for all those who were in an outreach ministry, only one person stood up, and that was me. And I thought, well, boy, what are we doing here if we're not trying to go out and do the work that Christians are called to do?
Exactly.
And am I talking too long?
No, continue,
Okay.
continue, continue, please.
All right. Well, the next thing that happened in that church is that the pastor took it upon himself to preach a sermon on the exact moment in time that all the sins of the world entered the body of Jesus Christ on the cross.
Hmm.
And as we left, I told my wife, what the expletive deleted, did that have to do with anything? And so we uh, changed churches. We went to what's considered a New Age church down the street. And my eyes were opened wide because they taught not just the Christian philosophy, but also opened my experience up to other authors and other, I don't know, I guess you could call them gurus, but I particularly loved Emerson, Lao Tzu, uh, who had the Tao, of course, Buddha. And in reading all of those and comparing them to Christ, I found a great similarity. Well, we went on our lives for the next 20 years or so. In the meantime, we bought a sailboat. We and spent 3 years on the boat. And one of my favorite things to do was to sit in the cockpit. Excuse me, early in the morning with a cup of coffee and a book of my choice. And the book of my choice generally had to be either the Bible or these something about the readings from the Tao or Emerson. And I started getting a thought that maybe I was uh, misinstructed when I was taking Christian instruction, because I didn't find a lot in these things that said we had to worship a particular individual or a particular deity. That the whole purpose of any of these people was that what we were ourselves would reflect itself in the life we live.
Hmm.
And that is basically what I came to with when we put together commentaries on the Book of Wisdom. It was just a compilation of things that had run through my head that I'd studied, gotten. Excuse me, I've got a bad cough, and it keeps showing up from time to time. But
That's okay.
okay, but the commentaries on the Book of Wisdom are really a compilation of thoughts and and for lack of a better term, instructions from not only the Christ but from other religious people throughout the ages. Now I got to talking and I forgot where I was. What was your next question?
Oh, it's okay. So, the book actually encapsulates the act of doing good deeds to others.
Well, that's not the only purpose. The book encapsulates the empowerment of these spiritual thoughts and uh, concepts in our lives to empower us to live life more abundantly Abundantly does not mean with riches. It just means that you have what you need and you want what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And but you also are looking out for other people.
Can you cite a specific chapter in the book that you loved the most, that you always wanted to share to people every time you get to talk to them?
I tell you, I really do, and it may sound a little trivial, but chapter 7.
Okay.
Uh, can I look at? Can I refer to it?
Yeah.
Here.
Please show the book to them, to our audience, if you don't mind.
Okay,
Do you have a copy there?
this is the book,
Okay.
and I'm going to chapters. I'm sorry, to number 7
And mhm.
uh, in the commentaries.
Give us the
And
chapter title.
number 7. Now, give you a little background. We don't talk about God in this. We talk about a source, and the source is really the beginning of everything. I got hung up on the on Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared,
Mhm.
and of course, C is a mass of, and the energy E is the energy that's combined in that mass. The thought occurred to me until there was energy, until something moved, nothing was created. And so everything that we have, that we see around us, started with energy. And instead of calling it God, it had to be a conscious mind. But instead of naming it God, I just say it's the power and the presence. But here's what chapter 7 says, and it talks about the source. It says the source knows no time but eternity. Eternity is unbounded and infinite. Man has no time but the moment. The past is a lesson learned. The future is yet to be. This moment is all we can know. The moment filled remains forever. The moment lost cannot be recalled. Regret not loss. Each new moment is a new beginning. Within eternity are our moments. Within a moment is eternity. And then the commentary is God knows only sequence, only man knows time. The only time that can be used is the moment before us. We cannot change the past. We cannot know the future. To waste the moment in regret of things past or anxiety over things yet to come is to lose the only time we have to use. What is lost cannot be recalled, yet a moment lost is followed by a moment new and unused. Wisely use each moment given you and walk forward through time to fulfillment. Lose the moment and dwell on its loss, and time marches past while you, mired in confusion and indecision, watch the happy parade as a lonely bystander instead of taking your place in its rollicking mist. I don't know where I came up with that phraseology. I had to be
You know,
inspired by somebody, but I really love it.
I'm getting it why you love this chapter the most. We cannot, bring back time, right? We cannot bring
Right,
back the past, but we
right,
can always reshape our future,
right.
and we can start it at the present.
We start it right now.
Yeah,
Always
right
start it
now.
right now. That's the only starting place we have.
Exactly. Now I need you to show us the copy of the book again for our, viewers. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Russell Marlett's book, Commentaries on the Book of Wisdom, available in Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. I encourage everyone to grab a copy of Russell Marlett's book. All right, Russell, before we end the session, what message do you want your readers to bring with them once they're done reading the entire book?
Okay, I'm going to answer that in just a minute, but the readers have to be aware that there was a story involved leading up to the discovery of the Book of Wisdom, and that that fills most of the pages. The Book of Wisdom and the commentaries are only 32. But if anybody is to get a message from this, I would hope they would realize that they face nothing but possibilities, and that the world that they live in and the world that they experience is just a mirror that shows them their efforts, their part in making the world a better place.
All right. Very interesting. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our featured author, Russell Marlett, author of the book Commentaries on the Book of Wisdom, available on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. Russell, thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you. I hope I haven't confused anybody. I get to talking, and sometimes I talk in circles.
You haven't confused anyone, actually, but you've inspired people right now.
Well, that's kind of you. Thank you.
With the Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world.